2022 has been full of legal battles that left us on the edge of our seats, from the historic overturning of Roe v. Wade to unionization efforts by some of the world's biggest companies. Yahoo Finance's Alexis Keenan takes us through the biggest developments from a very busy year.
In one of the most consequential Supreme Court decisions in decades, the nation's high court handed down a ruling in June doing away with women's federal right to abortion. The loss of that right, long credited with broadening women's career options and earning potential, was quickly recognized by hundreds of major U.S. corporations, from J.P. Chase to Amazon to Tesla to Disney. They stepped up travel and time off benefits to allow workers in roughly half of U.S. states that now ban or restrict abortion to access care out of state. And when serial CEO Elon Musk wanted to back out of his contentious $44 billion acquisition of Twitter, a fast-tracked Delaware lawsuit filed by the social media company ultimately held Musk's feet to the fire. Instead of a judge deciding how the dispute would end, Musk made good on his promise and closed the deal. The newly private company is now, though, being asked by the FTC if layoffs that cut about half of the company's workforce will allow Twitter to keep its pre-Musk commitments to the agency to protect user privacy. 2022 also ushered in a new era for tech and retail workers, with employees from Amazon to Apple to Starbucks and even Home Depot campaigning for the right to collective bargaining. In April, Staten Island Amazon warehouse workers prevailed in their union campaign, while other workers fell short. In June, Maryland Apple Store workers became the first to win a union vote, followed by Oklahoma City workers in October. And Starbucks, which has faced the most union pressure, now has more than 250 unionized cafes. And in one of the business world's most closely watched criminal trials, Silicon Valley entrepreneur Elizabeth Holmes was convicted on 4 counts of criminal fraud and sentenced to 11 years and 3 months in federal prison. Holmes, who founded the blood testing biotech startup Theranos, it was once valued at $9 billion. She was found guilty in January of fleecing investors out of hundreds of millions of dollars. The company imploded when a Wall Street Journal expose showed that its fingerstick blood tests didn't work as promised. And for millions of student loan borrowers, a sigh of relief came in 2022 when President Biden announced an executive order canceling up to $20,000 in student loan debt for certain taxpayers. Though the measure quickly became ensnared in lawsuits subject to court-ordered halts. Challenges from 6 Republican state attorneys general said only Congress can forgive student debt, and borrowers also called the order illegal. In December, the Supreme Court agreed to take up the 2 challenges. Arguments in the cases are scheduled to take place in the first quarter this year. And also in another Supreme Court decision, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency cannot force power plants that is, to adopt state-of-the-art technology or to require shifts from fossil fuels to sources such as solar and wind without an express mandate from Congress. The ruling, which came out in favor of 18 Republican-led states, is expected to frustrate a Biden administration initiative to decarbonize the U.S. electric grid by 2035. And the year concluded with the implosion of the world's second largest crypto empire, FTX, and the arrest of its founder and CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried. The platform plunged into bankruptcy in November, citing a $32 billion loss in valuation and an $8 billion deficit. Bankman-Fried now faces criminal fraud and other charges from the DOJ, the SEC, and the CFTC for allegedly lying to customers about the use of their crypto assets. Another startup fraudster saw his fate sealed as well this year. Nikola founder Trevor Milton faced a Manhattan jury in September that found he lied to investors about the capabilities of his hydrogen fuel hybrid semi-truck technology. Milton's jury returned a verdict on 3 counts of criminal fraud, finding that he lied about the electric truck startup for his own personal benefit.